Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you're doing good. Today's reading is going to be about what you need to know about your career. If you know how to pick a pile, go ahead and do the timestamps below and do your thing. If you don't, then I'll give you a quick explanation right now. I like to tell people to start with 4 deep breaths. I find it grounds you, it helps the reading resonate with you more, and yeah, it's just good to be grounded and yeah. Okay, so what you're gonna do is picture breathing in air from above your head, and you're gonna breathe it down through your nose until it goes to your core, and then you're gonna release it out your mouth, but try to make it smooth, not just super forceful both ways. So that's usually why I tell people to do it 4 times, just to get enough air circulating properly that your body relaxes a little bit. Yeah, and then from there you're just gonna look at all the piles, and you can pick them based off the crystal if you like them, if you like something about that card deck. Really, you can't go wrong here. If you just for some reason like that one and it looks the same as the others, that's totally okay. Yeah, okay, so the other thing some people do is they'll look at the timestamps for each pile, and then maybe they like the number associated with one, and then just go with that one. All right, so I'm going to give you time now to take your 4 deep breaths, and I'll see you in your reading. Pile 1. All right, let's get started. Let's see what you need to know about your career. Okay, pile 1. So I feel like you guys are watching this pick a card reading because of a situation at work. I don't think it's maybe the first time the situation has happened, but it's just over exhausting you now at this point. What I see is that I think there's a lot of gossip going on at the place you work at, and I guess I should just back up. So I do see social worker. I think you guys are social workers or are any other kind of helping like service worker for the lower income classes. And I do want to say it's government based. It probably isn't always going to be, but something around that. And I almost get an energy of volunteer work here, but I don't think you guys are actually volunteering at this place. I think you are simply so giving of your time that it seems like you're volunteering, not just working there. Yeah, so I do think there's lots of gossip at the place you work at, and I think you might be in a situation right now where that gossip has spread to like a close friend there, or to people that you respect there and have relationships with. And the advice from the angels is to be as honest as you can be. And that might be really hard to hear because I feel like this person who was on the other end of this gossip doesn't really want to hear you out. I feel like they've really shut you down. They're like stonewalling you. And they're just saying the reason why it is so hard to get them to listen to you, they've just like completely gone out of the way. They're saying it's because this person cares a lot about you, and they just were so shocked or surprised that like what this gossip was talking about, that it ever could have come from you, or and I don't even know if it's like something that should have been said as harshly or not. The angels don't really care about that. They're just giving me the solution to the problem. They're saying
that if you do want this friendship back or this relationship back, whatever kind of relationship this is, it could even be like the relationship when the boss is there. It's just saying to approach them and have a very open, honest, and vulnerable conversation. And this person should be able to hear you. It won't seem like it at the start, but they will open up and hear you out because they're gonna know that you're lying if you don't admit and have accountability for it. But saying where you came from, not in a defensive matter, just in an explanation matter, you think is really gonna help. I also get the feeling that maybe the reason why this thing that got said ever happened is because you're feeling very burnt out here. I just see you guys with an extremely giving personality, and that's really tricky in this line of work. I right away want to tell you that it's really important that you cut cords. And when you're doing these cord cuts, I really want to encourage you guys to do 2 cuts. So meaning you're going to put these people in a green bubble. I want you to do 2 separate groups, people that you're helping as like clients, and then I want you to do another group, another green bubble of people that are your coworkers or bosses, all of them in their own bubble. But for both of them, what you're going to do is ask Archangel Michael to do a cord cut where they cut at their end of the bubble where the cord is first with his yellow sword, and the yellow is just really gonna call back your power and take back any extra energy that you overgave. It's not gonna undo anything that you did for them. It's just taking some of that power back because I feel like your battery's very low right now. You need more of your energy back with you. And then after that, you're going to ask Archangel Michael to cut cords at your end. So you're doing 2 cuts. And then just ask to keep only the love and the lessons. And I think that's just going to really help with some tensions, really help with situations where people think they have some authority over you for some reason. Yeah, okay. And then I did see both these cards, which really tells me I think you guys are outgrowing the job that you're doing. Like the career role that you're in right now, you want to help way more. I should almost say, like, you want to help on a level that's deeper than what your job can allow you to. And I'm not saying go quit your job or anything like that. I don't even see necessarily that the people you're working with are the wrong types of people. I think they're just saying that you're right. Like, if you've been thinking about shifting into a different role or even like a different job that maybe would give you more ability to help these people on the level that you want to, it would be a good idea to start looking into that. They're saying that the workplace you're in is very toxic to you and draining. I still don't get it so much as the clients. I'm really getting it from the coworkers and even the building and even maybe the system. Like that branch of the system seems really hard to work for. It seems like every time you have a great idea, they might just shut you down, and there's no reason why they should. So this card here, the Venom card, is really calling you to kind of take a look at your situations and be careful with your words as well. It is like saying that because the place you work at, you can just say something, not really meaning it, just venting because it's very overwhelming and stressful. And then those words are going to be used against you. And I think maybe you guys have felt that. I feel like there is a bit of a block there in saying what you want to say and being heard for what you mean. And it's not saying to stop talking by any means, but it's just saying to be aware that that does happen in your environment and to be careful with the words you choose. And if someone is starting to say something that isn't what you meant, correct them right away. just say, oh, I'm so sorry. What I had intended by that conversation was this, just so that they just don't have any extra fuel to the fire. You don't need that drama. You're already dealing with so much. They do say to maybe pay attention to some relationships that are, I think they'd be closer relationships or people you see frequently that might be draining you. If you've ever heard, like, it is funny, like it does have the vampire card, people who unintentionally take our energy and use like a battery pack system. It does happen a lot with really strong giver personalities. And as I mentioned before, you guys have a very strong giver personality. So you would mean that, unfortunately, if you weren't aware of these people and you weren't energy shielding, they will just naturally gravitate towards you because they just see you as this beautiful beacon of light. So yeah, definitely big message to energy shield, ground, and cord cut. Because actually hematite is actually very good for grounding you. If you picked this pile, it would have been because you picked that specific stone. So it is really important. I actually did really want to read this message because I liked it. It says, is your mind on overdrive? Are you feeling physically hyperactive? Have you been sleeping well? It's important to be more grounded. Imagine roots growing through the soles of your feet into the earth. Allow disquieting thoughts and excess energy to drain away. So if you've ever done a meditation where you're trying to visualize your feet growing roots down to the core, Mother Earth, I think it's a really good one for you guys. Or I actually even can see putting hematite in your pocket, like a couple of pieces. And I feel like you might not be sure if you can have it at work, but you can just play it off as they're magnets because they magnetically stick to each other. I also think that will help you recharge better while you're at work. So do remember that when you ground yourself, you're reconnecting yourself to like the source energy and to Mother Earth so that you can refuel your own energetic body with the energy of the universe. And I think that will even help. There's definitely a lot of tiredness here, and for good reason. You guys, I feel like, are just really in the thick of it right now, and that environment at work is just, it feels toxic. It feels draining. It feels poisonous. Like it's not good. And I feel like you've even felt that. Like every time you try to keep that energy out, you end up getting compromised by it again. So yeah, I think if you're able to change locations or branches or anything around that, you don't need to do it immediately. There's nothing here saying do it immediately. They're just saying work towards that because it's really affecting your health on all levels, your happiness. I don't think you do much other than this work because I think it's really all encompassing. Yeah, and they're saying if you're ever feeling like hopeless, like don't feel that way. There is a solution. You just need to separate yourself a bit from the situation and just think like, what would I tell a friend in the same situation? What would be all my ideas? Because I think you guys are really great at that. You can find and see all the ways around things and to help people out. But I think it's just when it comes to you, it's a little bit hard for you to see, and that's totally normal, especially when you have such intense emotions around this workplace. It'd be very hard to think clearly and separate of that. So I know it seems silly, but I think it'd be really great to just think, what would I tell a dearest friend or like someone else that you've worked with? And I think you've even told other people you work with, like, to get out of here. It's like draining and it's not great. And I think the angels are just saying, take your advice. You deserve better than this too. It wasn't just those other people. Okay. And I do wonder, like, I saw this letting go card as like letting go of these relationships and cutting cords, because I feel like your body's just so drained and these other relationships are just still taking from you. But I also wonder if it's a bit of a message saying it's okay to let go of this job. I think you might have some clients that you're like, they really need my help. I'm not sure if other people will help them. they'll find the right people. They will find a way. It doesn't have to be you. You don't have to be the only answer. It's okay. It's totally okay. You're not being selfish. You're not leaving them on their own. I imagine they'll just follow you to this other career that you're going to do anyway. So don't worry about that. Okay, so this cute cat card, take your life and enjoy it. You are alive, so take your life and enjoy it. You were born with the right to be happy, to love, and to share your love. Just to be. Take a risk and enjoy your life is all that matters. So that's actually really sweet. I think that just really goes to show that you guys just are so worried about making sure everyone else is okay and happy that the universe is like, hey, what about you? Like, why aren't you doing all those things you're bringing into for other people? Like, you need to take a step back and just have more fun and do things for you. It's okay. You don't need to save the world. The world is always going to have ups and downs, and they'll be there tomorrow. They'll be there in a minute. They'll be there in 10 minutes. They'll be there in a year. Like, it's time to take time for you. And I think this listen card, I actually think it's saying that you've had ideas about other jobs you could do that you'd feel more fulfilling and more happy about doing. It's just really hard to maybe commit to them or go for them because it feels too good of a dream, like it's too far away. But I think if you just slowly work towards it, the transition is going to be really good. Oh, I just actually feel like the moment you don't have to work this specific job or this location or this role you're in, I think you're just gonna like, people are gonna see you and they're gonna be like, wow, you just look so great. Like, what's different about you? I can't put my finger on it. And it's just gonna be because you're gonna have so much extra energy. There's gonna be like a whole new light to you. You're gonna be glowing. Yeah, I don't know. It seems really good. Okay, yeah, and look at that. It's so sorry. I always don't really read the cards, and then I look at them and I'm like, oh wow, it seems like I just read it, but I actually didn't. This one says new growth, and I think that just really says it is good time to start changing and finding a new career, a new thing, because honestly, you guys are just too good of people to be suffering this much. You deserve so much better. Like, oh, I feel like I could just say that for hours. You just seem so giving, and I don't know, when I channel energies for piles, I always feel how the person feels, and it just feels so horrible, and you just don't deserve that at all. Yeah, I know it seems like I'm repeating myself, but it just seems so true to me for you guys. The angels are saying though, like, I feel like you guys might feel like it's so far away, this new opportunity or this new transition, like changing jobs, but they're just saying really, like, a seed need time to grow. It needs sunlight, it needs water, it needs love, it needs passion. It needs just like a little attention. And it is going to be a bit of that process for you, but nobody thinks about the seed when they see a huge tree. They just think, wow, what an incredible tree. How did it ever grow so big? Or wow, like it's just beautiful. And I think it's just saying sometimes we have to remember the steps that it took to get there and that it doesn't just come quickly. And I think for this group, I feel like it's just because of the type of job that I feel like this is related to. I think with like benefits and pensions and stuff, I think there's going to be stuff around that that's going to make you move slower. But I don't get anything saying that you shouldn't move. Like, I feel like they're saying just take your time with it. You'll figure out like the transition and everything's going to work out for the better. Yeah, and I also even see like it's like the light, it seems so far, but you are making your way there. You should really go for it. I think some of you might already have started this, or a lot of you are just like on the cusp of it. You're just thinking about it a lot, you've wondered about it a lot, but unfortunately, I think you just don't have a lot of really great people who are super supportive, who are kind of like, oh yeah, wouldn't that be nice, or say things sarcastically, but no, I think the universe and the angels are honestly really saying this reading that it would be a great idea. It's a great idea. It's going to work. It's going to bring so much more joy to you in the long run. And it's going to really bring back your health and your energy. And that's something that you really need back because what is life? You know, if we're not going to enjoy it a little bit for ourselves. Yeah. I think that's actually all I have for you guys. You know what? Maybe I'll just read this as like the ending notes here. It says, Angel of inner peace and grounding. I am calm and peaceful. All is well. My life is good. My roots absorb goodness from the all giving earth, which fills me up and brings me serenity. I am love, and all that surrounds me, and all that is attracted to me is love. I think that could be a really good thing to say when you're feeling down, exhausted, or tired. I think it'd really be a benefit to say those words. I don't know if you can see them. I'll just like hold it up a little bit closer. Maybe you can like screenshot it or something like that. But yeah, it feels like a really gentle, peaceful, and very loving and light affirmation to have to bring in this new that you want and a happier transition in your life. You do deserve it. So don't let that stop you if you feel like there's other people who could benefit from your time. You will be able to help so many more people if you're not so exhausted. Okay, all right. Well, you guys take care, okay? You have a good one. Okay, I'll see you around.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your card readings. I just wanted to take the time to let you know that if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have accounts where I just bring you information about the spiritual. It can be anything from more protection ways, energy clearing ways, just some like fun facts around maybe why you wear like a ring on a certain finger and stuff like that. Also, if you're interested in booking a private reading, you can do so through my website, empoweredreadings.com. And yeah, anyways, if not, it'd be just great if you could leave a comment or a like on this video so I know that it's resonating with you guys and that I am helping somebody out there. Anyways, you guys have a good day and hopefully I catch you around.
Hello, pile 2. All right, let's get right into this. Okay, pile 2. There is definitely some pretty strong messages coming through for you guys. I know this is a career reading. I think this is just talking more about your feelings around not being certain if you're pursuing the right career or where to go. I almost feel like you guys don't quite know the exact words or title to use for what it is that you want to do and help people with. There is like sorry, I'm like there's a lot of messages around you having to do your shadow work on yourself. It's just saying like you've got some inner child communication related blocks, and that isn't the main theme of this, but that is just like the first message that I see popping up right away. To take time to like learn more about yourself and the situation that you're kind of frustrated with right now, it's saying everything is following divine timing. The situation is going to figure itself out, and to try to focus on gratitude, which never really maybe helps that much when you're the one getting that message, but it's almost saying that there's a situation that they're trying to bring in like a lesson, but it's not a bad lesson. It's like a lesson that's gonna make you grow. But it's because of your mind shift around just being very frustrated right now. I can't tell what exactly is happening for everyone in this pile, but there's definitely some hardship that you feel like you're going through right now. And they're just saying, look for the gratitude and the blessings, because then you'll see why all this is happening. I have noticed just from personal experience when they say gratitude, like shift your mind to gratitude, a lot of times they're almost trying to get us to stop trying to control what's happening or thinking too far ahead about what's going to come in certain situations. So they usually give me the message of focus on gratitude, so you stop focusing on how everything's going to work out and you give space for the universe to bring it in while you're just putting out there the good energy that you want to attract in. I hope that makes sense. Okay, now the next message I really want to get clear to you guys. Sorry, I feel like you're like, oh great, this is such a like beating on you kind of pile, but it's not. There's nothing here saying that you're bad people or anything like that. Everything here is actually saying quite the opposite. They just really wanted me to address the situation you feel stuck in right now and are starting to have doubts around your life purpose and things. But it's definitely saying that you guys are on the right track. Like whatever, although I feel like for you, you don't have a clear idea on what exactly it is you want to do, like just working towards that thing is going to get you there. It's kind of funny. I'm like, I think it's like that feeling you feel when you think about what you want to do for work, like the helping you want to bring, the clearing work, the deeper work you want to bring to others. Just keep focusing on that feeling and what you want to bring in and follow to wherever that takes you. If it takes you to a certain class or course or to read certain books, do certain activities, just keep following that. That is what you're meant to do. That is the right path. It will bring you to what you want at the end of it all. Um, I do think some of the communication blocks that you experience, like what that would look like is people not hearing you when you say something, or you almost would feel like people are ignoring you when you say something, or just not addressing or acknowledging the things that you're saying. A lot of it's coming from your guys' gift to see what's in the shadows. Like, there's so many cards here saying that you are very gifted at looking into the dark and seeing what's there, and to not doubt yourself on what you're seeing because other people might not be validating you or agreeing with you. Spirit here is saying like you really can like see what no one wants anyone to see, and you don't even really have to look that hard. I think you just see a situation and it seems so obvious to you that you think everyone's looking at it too, but actually they have their heads turned sideways and they're looking at the flowers and you're just like not afraid to look head on. And this is actually what's going to make you guys so good at this job or career you're working towards. It's like that is truly your sole purpose here, is to do this work. Everyone needs it, even though no one really likes to acknowledge it, or they kind of can run away from you or ignore you, or maybe you have a lot of friends that just like disappear a lot on you. It's just saying it's because of your natural ability to see what people don't want seen. And I just really think like your whole soul design is just made to be so good at seeing the shadow work, the shadow selves of others. Yeah, you guys are just definitely really like a one of a kind type of person. And I think you're just gonna really help people do like the deeper work they need to do, and you're gonna bring the healings that everyone needs the most. It won't just be like the quick fixes or like the little easy things. You're really gonna go right deep in there, which is gonna be great for people. It's just a little bit intimidating because people aren't even seeing it, and then you're trying to give them solutions and they're like still trying to play catch up because they're like still in the denial stage. But that all being said, they are saying like it's important right now, like although that's like your end goal for work and the career that you want, it is right now important for you to do your own journey around finding yourself and taking that reflection and putting it on yourself right now. Like, what limiting beliefs, what shadows are still hidden within you? And I'm not saying to go crazy and overwork yourselves, but I almost feel like you guys are really good at seeing it in others. But then we have to remember, like, whatever we can see in other people is something that is in us, like that is within us. And it doesn't mean that it still is. It could just be something that we once experienced ourselves, and that's what makes us so good at seeing it. For you guys, I just feel like you might not always sit with yourself emotionally and hold space for yourself in that sense. I think you might be really good at like analyzing and figuring out why you're doing something, but I think there's just a bit of a disconnect when it comes to sitting down and just maybe like meditating or just being like, okay, I'm just gonna feel this emotion. Where am I feeling this emotion in my body? And then feeling it and then allowing it to be released since it's been acknowledged. Yeah, I also think you guys might have a weird, I shouldn't say weird, like this unexplainable intrigue with triangles or just finding that shape really powerful. I think it's like a really good protective talisman for you guys. I'm not really sure why I'm getting that, but I think I just see like a triangle. Maybe it's because it represents all the elements. It also is like the the very protective form of the pyramids. It could recommend. All of a sudden, I can't speak. It could also represent wisdom. For some reason, I feel like that's really important to you guys. So if you have like a pyramid shaped crystal, or maybe some of you even have pyramid tattoos, I honestly keep seeing like a pyramid that has a circle in it and a line. And I don't know the significance of that, but I think it's important to you for some reason. So this could be a very specific singular person message. It's tough to say. That seems very specific for a broad range of people, but something around that. Yeah, otherwise there's just a pretty big call to not be afraid and have bravery, like have courage. Like I think that you guys are very brave, and I think people always forget that bravery usually involves having fear and being able to face it anyways. That's the kind of the calling here is I think you guys have very like warrior spirits. And I do get that this pile is like a very old soul pile. You've definitely had quite a few lifetimes on just this earth alone. I don't know where you all originally from, but I do just see very old. I think a lot of you guys might resonate with shamanic work. I think you've had many lives probably where you've worked with that energy. And if you guys were looking at the soulmate card, I did choose a love deck card to represent career. And so whatever it is, it's just saying, yes, this is the career for you. If you're like, what does that even mean? That's why I put it there, is because I wanted to take the romance cards but apply it to career. Okay, I do really want to read this card. So, Amazonite. Are you holding back something you need to say? The truth about a certain matter needs to be spoken. Honesty is important at this time. Have the courage to speak up with grace. Loving words have the power to heal or improve a situation. Angel of truth and honesty. I live my truth and honestly communicate what is on my mind with ease. I effortlessly find the words to express my truth and speak eloquently and lovingly. I surround myself with people who are not afraid to honestly express themselves. So I think that's just maybe a message there to, yeah, I don't see any specific person, but I just think it's just like a message there to make sure that you are hanging around people who are supportive of you and accepting of you, and to remind yourself to, just because you see the very clear truth, maybe try to like shift those words into a kinder, loving way of saying it. Only because people are already shocked that you're seeing it, or shocked that it's even there. A lot of, like I was saying, this is like stuff people are in denial about, and it's stuff that they do need to hear. And it is saying like it is important to speak what you see, but just try to say it very gently and loving as possible. I guess even think about how you started off this reading and I had all these messages and it seemed like I was bullying you. I feel like that's how some people might feel when you talk to them, because they're like, "What? Ah, no. Ah, I don't I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want any of this to be real. I just want to go back in my world where I don't have to deal with this." Um, yeah. So it's just saying that. And then when I saw this, be yourself around others, I think it's saying like, I think maybe sometimes you've either said very directly what you've seen or what you thought everyone knew, but they didn't all know. And then I think you've like dimmed your light a little bit around some people and you're not being 100% yourself, which is a very fair coping mechanism to pick up. But they're just saying that this energy should eventually shift once you figure out how to word things a bit better, and to make sure you're surrounding yourself with people who I think who are more on the like self-development side of things, who want to be more consciously aware of their actions. I think if you're hanging out with people who are a little more of like the party scene, or a little more on the, I don't know, like just always binge watching TV and don't really have a lot of hobbies. Like, I'm not saying anything's wrong with that lifestyle, but I'm just saying they're people who don't really want to look deeper. They're like watching things and doing things that involve um, consistently numbing their feelings or feeling in their body. And obviously, everyone does all those things occasionally, but I'm talking about the people who only do those things. Like, you can almost just guess that they're at home staying up till 2 a.m. watching just TV that they're not even that crazy or passionate about. And then if they're not doing that, they're out drinking a beer, having several glasses of wine, and that's just their life. It's just like this cycle that never changes. Once again, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's just, I think with your energy, those are going to be the people who just can't handle what you have to say. So it's better to stay away from them. Okay, so the biggest assumption that humans make is that everyone sees life the way we do. We assume that others think the way we think. We feel the way we feel, judge the way we judge, and abuse the way we abuse. We are afraid to be ourselves around others because we think others will judge us, victimize us, abuse us, and blame us as we do ourselves. Yeah, so I think that's really just speaking to what I just said around maybe just making sure that you have healthier, more self growth people, and then just be okay with being yourself. Like, they're not going to be people who are just going to overreact and dump you and not talk to you again, or say like, oh, that's so mean of you to do this, or stuff like that. They're going to actually have very different energy approaching you on things like that. Okay. Okay, it says spiritual practitioner. Communication. Do you have a strong desire to help people on their spiritual path? Be a beacon for others by teaching spiritual truths. Your intuitive senses are strong, which helps you to be good spiritual support. Your direction and insights are valuable and make a difference in the lives of many. And then your affirmation, I actually think it's important to maybe say the affirmation for this because I feel like this is like what you guys want to work towards. And I think it'd be really good to start stating an affirmation that's very directly linked to wanting to help people go to the deeper levels, find that healing for themselves, and so forth. Okay, so it says, I easily and effortlessly share divine wisdom and knowledge. I am contemplative and enjoy meditation practice on a regular basis. Sharing my experiences with others helps them on their spiritual journey. Yeah, so if you have a way to like screenshot this or pause it and write it down, I mean, only do what feels right to you, but I think this one would actually be really good because it really is actually like a good affirmation for everything we've just talked about. Yeah. We'll leave it that way. And then Angelite is education. So I think it just says that like if you feel compelled to find more classes around this, educate yourself. I actually see that you guys might listen to like a lot of podcasts or books to find out more information right now. I doesn't mean you won't take a course in the future, but I think it's going to be a good stepping stone for you around looking into whatever it is specifically that you're wanting to do as a career. Okay, so it says affirmation, my creative juices are flowing. My mind is clear and bright. I always find the right words when speaking or writing, and people listen to me. So that last part of that is really important too, just with affirming that when you say something or share a truth with someone, they are going to hear you and that they are in a space where they can hear that feedback and that I think that will also help you shift your delivery of things. Okay, I'm not sure if I talked about her, but this is just the card where I was getting the impression that you do have like a positive to the situation you're in. And this is just like a reminder that it isn't about just getting somewhere, it is the journey that makes us grow the most, where we learn the most. And you're just kind of in that phase right now. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, although sometimes that's the most annoying thing someone can tell us. And just shift to gratitude. She's a big gratitude card where it's saying blessings are around you, but sometimes we just need that mind shift. So we focus on the good, leave space for there not to be us trying to control what comes in or the outcomes. And actually, this one does speak a little bit about how we can jinx ourselves or almost put like a curse of negative energy on ourselves, which is a very strange thing to say. But it's almost like if you're in a cycle and you're like, well, this won't work out because this is what's going to happen. It's just saying you being, maybe you're aware of this or unaware of this, but very psychically strong people are almost cursing yourself or jinxing yourself. And they're just saying, don't do that. Focus on gratitude. And I think that's all you'll need to kind of like clear up that energy. But you're just very psychically gifted and very strong, energetic people. So you could be accidentally blocking yourself a bit. Okay. Yeah. Definitely get that you guys are a very rare breed, which might be why you maybe feel like it's a bit tricky sometimes here and no one really understands you. Like I literally see this as like the diamond in the rough, like the one in a million. Yeah, it's tough. But you are definitely here to do a whole heck of a lot of good. So don't ever like doubt yourself there. Like everything here is definitely just like this really strong affirmation that you guys are just like these powerhouse forces of deep healing. You're just still trying to figure out how to, I don't want to say, what's the words I'm trying to use, how to put it in a nicer delivery package for others, because I just think you guys will never understand how little other people can see, because you just see so much, which is, like they say, like a blessing, but also a challenge. Yeah. Okay, well, I hope that helped. I think that's all I have for you guys. I'm really interested to see what you guys end up doing. I almost want to say you're going to do something similar to me, but then I'm like, but whatever you do, you're going to have your very own spin on it. I know that for sure. You guys are very unique. You're being called to do something, and I think that might be why you can't quite put your finger on it or your thumb on it, because it is some kind of like healer work, but it's gonna be changed and kind of more modernized that it helps people more efficiently. So it's gonna be really cool. I want to say, like, wow, if you picked this pile, like, just leave a comment saying you picked pile 2, because I feel like it's cool to know how many people like you are out there. I don't feel like there's that many that are gonna pick this pile. Okay, anyways, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you around.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your card readings. I just wanted to take the time to let you know that if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have accounts where I just bring you information about the spiritual. It can be anything from more protection ways, energy clearing ways, just some like fun facts around maybe why you wear like a ring on a certain finger and stuff like that. Also, if you're interested in booking a private reading, you can do so through my website, empoweredreadings.com. And yeah, anyways, if not, it'd be just great if you could leave a comment or a like on this video so I know that it's resonating with you guys and that I am helping somebody out there. Anyways, you guys have a good day, and hopefully I catch you around.
Hello, pile 3. All right, let's get into it. Okay, pile 3. It's an interesting energy here. I think a lot of you have had a few different jobs at whatever career you're in right now. The message that I'm getting here, I don't 100% understand it completely, to be honest. It's very intense. I think a lot of you work in some sort of supervisor or management role, and I think some of you either just recently got fired or quit your job. Not all of you, but that energy is definitely here for someone. And I think why it happens is I think you guys are kind of like truth seekers, if that makes any sense. Like, I feel like you can see the corruption of an industry or a workplace, and I don't think you guys are necessarily quiet about it. I think you try to fix it or help out like the clients somehow around that. And I think it kind of burns some bridges with the people you work with. Because there's a lot of like things here saying like you're a natural leader. This card here, so it's very interesting. I think there's problems with just a bunch of different people that are watching this. So for some of you, it's because they want to say like burn bridges with like higher up management or the people you work with because of just the way you are in wanting to change things. It's so interesting. I can't stop looking at the sexual energy when I'm saying this. I feel like some of you also might deal with a lot of creepy people at your job. Like I not all of you, this is definitely a message for all of you, but I think someone who's watching this has really dealt with maybe managers being inappropriate or just like flirting with you even, and it's really uncomfortable and you just had enough of it and you're done with it. I actually think if that's you, I don't think you've actually quit your job. I think you're just frustrated and aren't sure what to do about this situation. And their advice to you. You know what? I'm not seeing a specific advice around what to do about that person. I feel like you maybe already have taken action, or something's going to get resolved there. I do see that this person, like, naturally, just from, I think you're not the only one they've done this to, it's gonna bite them in the ass. It's like the words I want to use, and that's not the greatest language. I'm not getting any advice on what you should do around it. I think you should just follow your intuition there. I don't want you to think you shouldn't do nothing. I don't want you to think that you're being told to do something. I think you're just supposed to do whatever you know is right and best for you, because it's angels aren't really like focusing on the what to do. They're saying that this problem is going to resolve itself. I just feel like there's just been too many people this person's done this to, and you can only get away with something for so long before enough people have had enough and it comes back your way. I do think, though, what the angels want to talk about, if this is the dynamic you're in, is that this isn't the first time this kind of energy has surrounded you, or that you've had to deal with it, and they're really calling you to kind of take time to go within and see what has happened that makes you more susceptible to this energy. It's not saying that you're bringing it to you necessarily, but I think there's something in your upbringing that is making you more vulnerable to this type of energy. It's almost like these people know that you might not set a boundary right away with them, and then before you can realize like how extreme things are getting, they've already smashed through that boundary and you can't set one now, or it feels like you can't set one now because they've just escalated so much. I do just want to reiterate that I'm not saying not to do anything against this. You should not be okay or accepting of this behavior, but they're just saying to look for the root of the problem, and I think you won't attract this kind of energy in anymore. Okay, so that was like for that group. And then the other energy I see here is some of you, this is going to be a bit tricky to hear. Some of you who are managers or supervisors, they're saying that you are great. You are so great at knowing exactly what a business needs to grow, what an individual needs to grow. You can change like the dynamics, the economy for a whole business is what I see. Like, you actually have such great potential and you're really good at this, but they said sometimes the shadow aspect of that can come through. And then they're just saying like the only reason why I feel like maybe you've had some tensions with some coworkers or like people who you're managing and you can't quite figure out why, they're just saying sometimes it kind of comes up a little bit too much as an ego. And they're saying that you are great, you're brilliant, you are like, when you stay in the energy, remaining a student of life and like learning from what you see others doing, you are like at your greatest. You bring in the most light. But it's almost like when you lose sight of that, you can get a bit rigid on some rules that don't really need to be so rigid. And you almost forget about the why you're doing this greater purpose, and it can be a little more for your own self betterment. And it's not saying that you can't do things for your betterment, but it's almost like saying a little reminder that the best teachers, gurus, they all are people who think of how can I serve the universe today to make it better. And when you have that energy out there, that's when you guys are doing the greatest, the best. And I think it's also when you're feeling the like your most true self. Because I don't think the shadow side or the aspect of this is really your true you, but I think under stress and exhaustion and feeling burnt out, it does come off as a bit of like this rigid, um oh, I'm like, I don't know how to say it. Like, I don't want it to seem insulting. It's like something that you see a lot of managers fall into. Um, it's like, it's almost like, it's not, it's almost like sometimes people feel too righteous, like they're right all the time. And it's not because they don't doubt themselves. It's almost like they've gotten so worried about having to be right around a subject or know everything that they forget that we're all learning from each other. And sometimes like the best ideas actually come from like the people who are just getting into something or just seeing something, and they're just saying sometimes you might forget to look for that now, but you used to all the time. So it's really just a reminder and calling you to reflect and see if you've fallen into that dynamic. Because I don't think it's really who you are at all. It's just like they say, like the shadow aspect of that strength is that sometimes if we get burnt out, exhausted, or just overworked, it can show up in that other energy from time to time. I think for those who that message resonates, it's like saying, see other people's point of view. I think it's just saying, yeah, like I think sometimes people bring great ideas up to you, but if you're in that burnt out energy, kind of have your head busy and all this work, you can't really, you're not really hearing them or seeing their ideas. It doesn't mean that everyone has a great idea. There's probably a lot of bad ideas out there. It's just saying, I don't know, maybe this is just for a very specific person, but there's maybe some ideas that could make your life a bit easier or like things more efficient with the people that are working for you if you are a little more open to other people's ideas coming in. Um, yeah, okay, and I you know what, I can't even remember the other energy I was seeing here. Oh, the truth seeker energy. Okay, so then the other one, I feel like you guys aren't necessarily the supervisors, but I feel like you have the maturity and the wisdom that you should be the manager, but you have issues with the corruption of those industries that you I feel like you're kind of like the I don't know, a person with a torch and you're ready to like burn the place down, which is like really great, but I can imagine brings up a lot of issues for you keeping a job and being like happy and felt like you're supported at your workplace. Yeah, so it's like having the wisdom. Yeah, that's tricky. I'm like, I see why you guys are watching career reading because that is really hard to figure out. It's telling you not to ignore these things though. Like if anything, maybe you feel like, oh, I wish I could just stay at a job for a bit and not hop place to place. But I almost feel like in some ways that's a bit of your calling. Like you will eventually find a place that doesn't have all these issues, but you are here to like force these industries to change and be accountable, and a lot of people don't have the courage to do that. So you guys are definitely very brave people. You're not just going to be quiet because it's the easier thing to do. And I think also this card says like things are going to resolve themselves here as well as for you guys, and not to worry too much because you're really like doing it to be of service and to see things clearly. Okay, now let's turn this into a group general rating here. So as a general thing here, you guys do all have work to do in some sort of foundation systems of yours. So I actually think for you guys, this group might have issues with feeling financially secure or feeling like deserving of, I want to say like maybe even raises or position. Um, like promotions, that was the word I was looking for. It's not going to be for everyone, but there's just like this block around career and allowing in more. I think you guys have a block from definitely a belief system around something not being secure. It could even be that when you guys were being raised, that maybe you didn't feel like you had a lot of security in your parents. You never really felt supported. You didn't feel worthy or deserving of I almost want to say of love and like the abundance that the universe can bring in, because it's like it started with your parents where maybe they just didn't really intentionally mean to create some bad belief systems around that, but just their actions and their words made you feel on some level a bit unworthy. And it's just saying, if you feel like you've always been blocked from following your dreams and doing the things you want to do, I think it's saying that you've got to kind of look at your roots and just figuring out why, like, whoever made you feel like that, because it's not true. And I think just even like maybe taking the time to reflect. I want to say with like a partner, I know not everyone's going to have like a significant other, but someone who you could trust to that extent, a healthy support system. Because I think you guys might need to say it out loud to realize and connect and associate this block. Uh, and it's like you can think it, but I even think if you just said it once to someone, it's just going to click and it's going to really be healing for you. And I think it's going to really help you advance further in your careers, in your financial gain. And I know it sounds so weird to say that, but I feel like there's a lot around taking your power back and not feeling like life is just happening to you. And I really think that it's come from something in the upbringing. Like I said, there is a lot of different people's energies here. There's like three distinct different readings kind of happening. So it's really hard to narrow down what specifically, but I do think it's around finances and deserving of good fortune, something around that. And yeah, I guess it says like as you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. Uh, yeah, I feel like you maybe even had to like beg your parents for like attention or the love that honestly you deserved and shouldn't have had to beg for. And I think going down that avenue, you might be able to hopefully figure out what the limiting belief is. And maybe even just look into what are limiting beliefs. Because I feel like for some of you, are like, you keep saying that. What does that mean? I would just Google it, listen to a podcast about it quick. Uh, I think some of this is going to be a bit scary for you guys, but it's just saying, I think you guys have been feeling stuck and quite tired about this like rut you feel in your careers and in your jobs. And they're saying, like, this is kind of where it's stemming from. As scary as it might feel to look into it, I think you guys are going to feel so relieved just to have it out there in the open, to just be like, oh, that was it? That was what was blocking me? How did it take me so long to realize that? And I think it's just going to be really healing. And I feel like, honestly, it's just going to like shoot you forward so far. That's a very strange thing to say, but I just feel like you're just going to, from there, just grow, and then you're not even going to recognize like this cycle that you are stuck in with these weird dynamics with colleagues and employers and things. Sorry, I really want to read this dog card. It says, don't make assumptions, relinquish the need to change others. Real love is accepting other people the way they are without trying to change them. If we try to change them, this means that we don't really like them. It is easier to find someone who is already the way you want him or her to be instead of trying to change that person. You know what? I actually think this is applying. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of different situations here, but I think this might be applying more to you guys and saying, just embracing who you are at your true core is, I think, really going to change a lot of things. Follow your dreams. Like, I don't know, reconnect, I want to say, to your feminine energy. It doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. I think you need a little more of that gentle, compassionate, space holding energy within yourselves. I feel like you guys are very much in your masculine energy, worth doing things, getting things done, completing tasks. And I think the feminine energy just needs to come in for a little bit now to balance out that and be a little more gentle with yourself and understanding and have empathy for yourself. It's like you almost need that energy to be the nurturing parent or mother that I don't think you guys got and that you deserve. Okay, sorry, the clear chords. Are you trying to gain clarity? Do things seem hazy and dark right now? Is your path unclear or uncertain? Go within to see the positive in all circumstances. Focus on the matter at hand. Maintain loving thoughts and surroundings your current life situations. Yeah, so I think they're saying don't give up hope. Like, you guys know there's something like exhausting and you're tired about what's going on at your jobs, and it's all going to start to make sense, I think, if you just do your own kind of inner wounding, inner child work. And I know that seems so weird to talk about when you're talking about career, but it's really going to change whatever block there is around what you deserve, and seeing things is just going to shift everything. So the back of this one says, Angel of Clarity. I see my life situation clearly and form a greater perspective. I am focused in all that I do. I am lovingly conscious in every action I take. I proceed with a greater understanding of what is required of me. So that's an affirmation. I think this would be good definitely for that manager or supervisor position if you're in it. I think this is going to be really good for helping you allow in ideas that will help you, and also being able to clearly see the ideas that are not going to work. Because as much as I think there is like great ideas out there, I think maybe there's even ideas that are brought to you that are garbage, but maybe they sound too good to be real, or they are seemingly like the perfect fix. I think saying this affirmation will help bring clarity to that. It almost like you think will help you remove the emotional aspect of like who's giving you this information, and being able just to see it as the information that's brought forward to you. And then here's this affirmation too. It says, experiences from the past empower me. I'm connected with powerful ancient wisdom. I understand the origins of repetitive patterns and develop new paths to the divine. Yeah, so that, to me, honestly, that really just says that you guys have noticed you've been in this cycle for a bit and you're just so done with it. And I don't blame you. I feel like there's just a lot of like frustration and just like why does this happen again and again every time I go to a different place to work or get a different job or whatever it is. You just seem to find yourself in these same cycles or dynamics. It's really saying you're right, you shouldn't still be in them. You just have to go in deeper on this belief system of what you're worthy of, and kind of whatever had happened in those upbringing roots that are kind of keeping you stuck here. Tiger's Eye. Okay. Are you envious of someone else's good fortune? Are others jealous of you? Replace jealousy with happiness for others' good fortune. Blessings are being received all around. Anyone can create the same blessings with true and pure intention. It's up to you. Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye is also really good for bringing in like financial gain, protection. I think good luck, but I can't quite remember. But I actually think that one would be really good for you guys. I think some of you guys might like work in the restaurant industry. I mean, not for sure. I think there's definitely like some retail vibes and like things like that. But I just also feel like there's lots of restaurant industry where I feel like the hustle and bustle and the you don't really have time to give people who don't have great ideas time, and mistakes end up with like an earful to you. Yeah, it's not going to be everyone, but you're saying it's okay. Like I know it seems so weird to connect this cycle of work with like a personal development thing. But however, which way the universe works, it's saying that's the issue. Okay, so this affirmation I think would be good because I think because of your guys's just for both, like for that supervisor energy who's really good at just changing situations, I think you can grow really quick, and that can make other people who are not as gifted as you at that be a bit angry or frustrated with you. And then I also think for those who are those kind of like I want to say like hell raisers in the industry world, where you're just like telling people what they're doing wrong and bringing to light all the things they have hidden in the closet. I think it's really important to say this affirmation to help kind of block out some of that gross energy that's coming at you from other people who don't like that you see or do what they're not wanting anyone to see them do. So it says, I am sincerely happy for the blessings in the lives of others. It brings me great joy to see others experiencing happiness. I extended blessings and goodwill to all. I am grateful for other people's good fortune. It might seem strange that it's all about other people, but I think it's like saying that if you're putting all that energy out there of like just, even though maybe you don't like what some people are doing, you're still just sending them love and the best things for them. And I think that will almost soften their like energy towards you on an unconscious level. They're not even going to realize that that's what's happening. Okay, I actually think that's all I have for you guys. That one was a little bit all over the place. I hope you got the messages you needed from it, and I feel like even though I'm finishing this up, a lot of you are very confused about how self-work is going to change your career cycles or career situation, and I just really think it's one of those things of it goes to show how much law of attraction really brings in what we think we're worthy of, what we deserve. And I think they're saying like you don't even realize it, but there's something in your subconscious that's saying you aren't worthy or deserving of better, and it is a limiting belief because that's not true. You do deserve better than this. This sounds exhausting. You're done with it. I honestly feel like it won't take much just to shift this energy a little bit. If you just, I honestly try looking at shadow work or inner child work or limiting beliefs, like just watch a podcast on it. I think even like a bit of clarity that will bring you is gonna shift things just enough to make such a difference for you. And then you can go from there wherever you want to go. Obviously, you don't have to do anything, you've got your own free will. But when I see the messages here from the angels, they're always like, really make sure they know that this is going to make such a big difference. So that's why I feel like if I feel like I'm being pushy, it's just because they're saying this is really going to be a game changer for you all. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys have a good one. I hope those messages were helpful, and I hope they just brought you feeling a little more like you've got more options. I don't want anyone to feel like it's just like this really tough, rough thing. You guys are all doing great. You know there's something up, and yeah, I just hope this helped. Okay, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you around.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your card readings. I just wanted to take the time to let you know that if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have accounts where I just bring you information about the spiritual. It can be anything from more protection ways, energy clearing ways, just some like fun facts around maybe why you wear like a ring on a certain finger and stuff like that. Also, if you're interested in booking a private reading, you can do so through my website, empoweredreadings.com. And yeah, anyways, if not, it'd be just great if you could leave a comment or a like on this video so I know that it's resonating with you guys and that I am helping somebody out there. Anyways, you guys have a good day, and hopefully I catch you around.
Hello, pile 2. All right, let's get into it. You guys chose one of my favorite stones, so I'm excited to see what you got for your career reading. Okay, so I do believe that if you chose this pile, you are younger. I want to say even 17 to 23 age range. And you're watching this because you're not really sure maybe what you want to do for a career or if you're in the right course or class or something around that. But it is definitely saying that right now you're just in this important phase of your life where it's important to just experience it. Just experience life. Like, I think if you've been wondering about taking a gap year kind of thing, I think this reading is literally saying, yeah, like, don't be afraid to do that if that's what feels right to you. If not, just don't get too stressed out in school and in courses and forget that you are still a young person. And there's all these experiences that are so important for you to have. That is also saying, though, that it is important to um, kind of welcome yourself into this adulthood, but you have to remember that you have to set boundaries for yourself with other people in your life, with how much you're going to give time to certain things. And that's just going to be kind of part of this whole next phase for you. But they just keep saying, like, don't rush through it. Make sure you have fun. Like, don't take it too seriously. There is like quite a few things about communication. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. It says communicate with others as clearly as you can to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. Okay, thinking about it, actually, the communication does make sense just with, I think, the age group that this pile is. Um, I think it's kind of saying that if you might need to work on your communication because of the age group and kind of the maturity that you're going to be around, to be careful with what you say because people just have some heightened emotions when they're under that much stress at school or in courses. Or I think like it could be kind of in the partier group, all those kind of stereotypes of people being a little more dramatic and maybe not coping with their emotions quite as well. It's not saying necessarily that you are going to be one of these people, that I just think you're going to be around people who are like that, and to keep that in mind because it might just bring you a little less drama and misunderstandings down the road. I also think, I know there's like a turquoise stone and the the malachite stone. However, I think if you guys like opalite, I think that would be a really good crystal for you guys. I think if you like wanted to wear like a pendant or a ring of opalite, I can't really say why, but I think it's very good for you guys. It might make you have a little more fun, have a little more clarity around situations, and I think it's going to help you like transform during this transition time. Yeah, I can't really say exactly why, but I just feel like that would be a good crystal for you guys. Or maybe you already have a piece of it at home and that's the whole reason why I'm talking about it. It's just telling you to take it out and you should wear it. Yeah, definitely a very interesting time for you guys. It's funny, but sometimes you get a feeling around something, but you don't really know how to explain it. And this is happening to me right now, where I just feel like it's like you guys are gonna just learn so much and you're gonna really see the dark side and the good sides of people and situations and not get too caught up in that because it's really just part of your growth and your soul's chosen path and experiences. And just to make it as the easiest or the smoothest you can, just remember the boundary setting and with yourself, with others, and with your time. I think I already mentioned that, but that is like a pretty prominent message. So I think it's going to say, like, if you're starting to feel burnt out or like things are just hitting the fan, try to remember what I'm saying right now about setting boundaries. Maybe something will trigger in your brain to be like, oh, maybe this is why I'm feeling so tired. Um, Yeah. Let's see what else here. Really should look up what the spiritual meaning of the rose is. A pink rose. If you have time for that, you should look that up. A pink rose. I think that's very important for this group, whatever that means. And there's definitely another reminder around balance. For those who were thinking about the gap year and them saying, I think it's a good time to take time for yourself and just retreat, recharge yourself, like whatever you've been previously doing has been very exhausting for you. And I think it's just a good time for you to kind of feel like yourself again, laugh again. There's two laughing cards. So either you guys are really funny people or you've been too serious and they're telling you to kind of find the fun again, find the youthfulness in yourself, because it does seem like you guys have a lot of play energy, and they're really saying it's important to remember that. Like, I think some of you are trying to grow up a little bit too fast and you're going to miss out on all the greatness of being young. Like the pure enjoyment of seeing everything and experiencing everything more lightheartedly and less seriously. I know it's always easier said than done. But that being said, because this is a career reading, I think some of you might literally be thinking about getting into comedy or an entertainment. Some of you, I think some of you might even be into like fashion. I don't really know what's making me say that, but I think there's just somebody there who's, yeah, interested in going to like a fashion school, very like gifted, creative, feminine energy job, whatever it is. Um, it's very fun. And I think they're saying just go for it. Like, just experience life as you're supposed to experience it. You guys are really, feel like you guys are very, very serious people. But you're not by nature. I think it's just recently with all these pressures or stresses that you've been under that you feel that way. It could even be like maybe some peer pressure or parent pressure to have things all figured out or to go down a certain path. But Spirit's just reminding you the best thing to do is to be true to yourself and then to communicate to others what it is that you want and why you want to do it. Because I think maybe that's a bit also where communication block is coming from. You might have parents or peers who are trying to pressure you all the time, but I think if you could just explain to them why you want to do what you're doing and the importance of it, it might make them back down a little bit more. Obviously, there's always going to be exceptions to that, but I think if you have like a more vulnerable, open conversation about it versus a defensive conversation, they're going to see and understand. It's funny, as I was saying that, I was saying, I think some of you might honestly just have to explain to your parents that this is your life and your youth. Like, although they might regret theirs, you will regret yours if you don't do this path. And to say that as kindly or in even better words than I just used, and that won't be for everyone, but I feel like for someone, there's just saying like, oh, that won't be enough, that won't be enough. This person's very pushy. They assert their opinion a lot, and that's just for that person there. Yeah, lots of balance. Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. I want to say upcoming year for you guys. I don't usually get like timelines, but this like next year is gonna be really interesting. There's just so much growth. I feel like you're gonna have like these really calm, peaceful, amazing clarity times, and then you're gonna have these like not so maybe feeling great times, but then they will go back. Like, it is just cycles. They will go back to like this better, higher state. You're going to have so much more awareness, and you're really going to know what it is that you want to do, and you're going to be so much more happy. I want to say, I feel like you guys are going to be a lot more lighthearted. That's how your energy feels in the future, but I think it is about a year from now. Yeah. Just, yeah, be really gentle with yourselves. I think if you guys are artsy at all, it's calling you to maybe pick up a habit or a hobby, a routine of just like maybe if you like sketching or drawing, doing that once. I think some of you might like making like collages of some sort, or those dream boards. They're like saying just do stuff like that, just to, I don't know, to really get that energy going and to remind you that life is about having fun. As well as, yes, we all do have to go and get jobs, but you're young enough that you don't need to be worrying that much about it, because no one knows what they're going to do for the next 50 years at your age. It's just an unfair question to ask. It's so unfair, but for some reason society always makes us ask young people that question. Yeah, and you guys are really good at whatever it is that you're thinking about doing. I definitely get like the artsy vibe or like the creative vibe. It doesn't literally mean you have to be an art designer, but it's almost like you are very good at finding a creative way around it. Yeah. You know, I actually think that's all the messages I have here. I keep looking at the cards, but they keep kind of just re-saying the same thing. Balance, lots of learning, lots of growth. Take time for yourself. If you're thinking about the year off, it's a great idea for you. Trust that you will find what you want to do when you just are feeling good and happy, because it's really hard to know what you're passionate about if you're in a state of stress and like worry and all that, because passion isn't really running in that direction, you know? Okay, anyways, that's all I got for you guys. I know it might be hard to believe, but I'm not worried about this group. You guys feel like you're really gonna have a really great year in the overall long term. Obviously, life does involve bumps and bruises, but it's gonna be a really great year for you guys, I think, overall. At least when you're looking back. Okay, you guys have a good one, and I'll see you around.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your card readings. I just wanted to take the time to let you know that if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have accounts where I just bring you information about the spiritual. It can be anything from more protection ways, energy clearing ways, just some like fun facts around maybe why you wear like a ring on a certain finger and stuff like that. Also, if you're interested in booking a private reading, you can do so through my website, empoweredreadings.com. And yeah, anyways, if not, it'd be just great if you could leave a comment or a like on this video so I know that it's resonating with you guys and that I am helping somebody out there. Anyways, you guys have a good day, and hopefully I catch you around.
Hello, Pile 5. Let's see what you got. Okay, Pile 5. It's kind of an interesting pull here for career. I do feel like you're a healer of some sort. It could be a doctor or a nurse. It doesn't have to be, but just something around that healing nature. And I do think that you guys might be a little depressed or hurt. I actually think for some of you, there's a depression around not being appreciated enough at your job, or just taking and taking and taking like people's like, I want to say people's shit. And it's exhausting, but you're doing all this because you want to help people and you're a healer. You're very healing soul. And it's just kind of left you being like, where's your support system and who's like helping and paying attention to you guys? So there is just like this call to say, like, you are definitely a healer. You are meant for this work and this line of work. But I think you are just being really exhausted. I feel like you go through cycles where you're like, you're doing okay, and then you just get so tired. It's really hard, like, just, I feel like maybe not sleeping enough, helping everyone else with their problems, and then just being like, who's there for you at the end of all this. What the cards here are saying, the messages from the universe here is just saying, I think it's calling on you to open up your mind to, I want to say, like the cosmic universe. I think you guys might not necessarily love the word God or things like that, or religions. I do also think there's a bit of a block on doing this. It could be something in your upbringing, in your cultural belief systems, maybe in having believed in God and then being hurt by it or something like that. But there is definitely a call to open up to that, because I feel like understanding that things aren't just always cycles. Like, I feel like that's really something you're aware of. You're like, oh, well, I'm out of this, but now I'm going right back into it. Like, it's just always a perfect circle going again and again. And I think so I do just want to read some of these cards, and I'll kind of get back to that block. But so this one here says, have you been feeling depressed? Do you have mood swings? Is it time to restore well-being? A joyful outlook on life can be yours. Take the necessary steps to shift your focus from that which troubles you to that which brings you joy. And then the affirmation they suggest you saying for this is, I consistently maintain a balanced and joyful outlook of life. I am so grateful for an inner sense of well-being. I easily center my attention on the people, places, and things that bring me happiness. And I did notice this card also talks about that, like manifestation. It says, prosperity abounds in my life. Goodness multiplies. Whatever I desire, imagine, and passionately act upon becomes a reality. I think it might just be one of those things when people say focus on the good, they're not saying it's not okay to feel the gross emotions, but it's saying don't anticipate the negative. And what I mean by that is just meaning, if you're thinking about the future and you're just like, today at work, this is going to happen and it's going to suck. I'm going to feel like this and I don't like that. This is going to happen and this is going to happen, but they're all kind of negative. They're saying, try to get out of that mindset. Try to think like, oh, this coffee tastes so good right now. Like, if it's even just like a small thing like that, or wow, this flower in the room here, it smells so amazing. It smells so good, so fresh. It's like, I think it's trying to shift you out of thinking about so much the future and what's coming and like how you're just feeling really stuck. Try to just transition it to what's good right now, not in the future, but like right now, right here. What's good? Oh, I love this shirt. It's so cute. It makes me feel good. It looks great on me. Things like that. Like, it seems so silly, but they're like, you used to maybe think like that, but you've forgotten to focus on those things that just shift a little more love and light into things. And I know that's always easier said than done. And then, when I see this card, priorities, and then the Merkaba, to me, that just really cemented that you guys are in the healing industry. Obviously, seeing the nurse doctor card helped with that. But I think it just says that I think you're helping people with the physical right now, but you're knowing that there's more to it than just that. And it's just calling you to really explore what the more to it part means to you, what else is out there, and to see that we're all like connected to one. Like, I think the problem is that your mind keeps seeing things as cycles. You keep falling into cycles. They're saying just try to be more right now and see how everything is connected to everything. I feel like some of you are like, oh, sounds like you're high on mushrooms or something. But it is actually almost like that idea. Like, not that you go get high on mushrooms, but just like seeing things from everything is connected. It's like when you maybe go traveling and you meet someone from a town you're from on another part of the world. It's like there's these strange connections. They're not everything is a cycle. There are just connections. I hope that makes sense. It seems like a very strange thing to try to explain, but I feel like it's very important here. Okay, so this one says, do you have a broken heart? Are you feeling unloved? Take the time to nurture yourself and know you are loved by the divine. Open your heart and have more compassion for yourself and others. Take a long bath, drink plenty of water to nourish yourself. So actually, when I see bath here, I think if you guys are healers, you could really benefit from Epsom salt baths. They're obviously, I think you guys already know, great for your physical health, but on an energetic level, they actually pull other people's negative energies out of you. And you can just leave those energies behind in the bathtub, and then the water will go down the drain and clear it from you. I think a lot of this burnt out energy could be from healing so much and taking on so many other people's gunk, and you might feel better. It's actually very strange. I almost want to say, if you guys are open to it and you like taking baths, take an Epsom salt bath, like the 2 cups of Epsom salts or whatever they recommend. And if you have like pink rose petals to put them in, or if you have essential oils that are roses, something about pink roses seems really good. I think I can't quite place it, but something around that I think is going to bring something in that you guys are needing on like a soul level and a physical level. You can honestly, if you're like, I don't really know the importance of that, I would maybe just go Google the what is the spiritual properties of roses or pink roses, or what does rose essential oils do for you, but look on the energetic level. I think this is very soul based, like something around that is what your soul's wanting. Could honestly, actually, is saying that it could be around receiving, because I think you've given so much. It's like a thing that's going to help you bring in more for yourself. This true love card, this is the romance of a lifetime. I pulled this as a career-based reading, so I actually think this is saying that you are a healer, like you are passionate about that, even though it is hard for you and you might not feel great about it right now. I think you're going to be a healer your whole life. It doesn't mean it's going to be at this exact job, though. It's just, I feel like this question, I'm like, sorry, I was trying to see if I could see anything future coming in for this pile, but they're saying, no, that's not what the focus is on. The focus right now is just like on the job they're doing and the mental and emotional health aspect that they're struggling with. So I don't think you're going to be in this struggle forever, but they're just saying they don't care about the future. I think it could be because you've thought too much in the future energy, that they're really like, no, we're just going to talk about now. Now is where things change. The future is like energy that we're always chasing to get at, because if we're always talking about the future, like when are we ever experiencing the now? Even if like, say tomorrow you're like thinking about all the things you're going to do, and then tomorrow happens and then you're thinking about all the things you're going to do the next day. It's like, are you ever just being there and experiencing the things that you were so excited to be thinking about? Yeah, it's definitely a human nature issue, so don't feel bad about that one, but it's just one of those things where they're like, we're trying to get you out of that, because I think that's not helping with this heaviness that you're feeling or this depression that you're feeling. Let's see what this card's about. Be immune to other people's opinions. And it's a little turtle with a cute flower making his way slowly. Okay, it says, what others say and do is a projection of their own reality, their own dream. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. Yeah, so I think it's, especially if you're healers, I think they're saying it makes sense that it's harmful when people are yelling at you or saying things, or just like you're really seeing them at their lowest. You're seeing them at some of the hardest points in their lives, I think. That might not be for all of you, but I think it's applicable for most of you. And they're just saying, try to see it through that mindset and knowing that everything that they're saying is them just vomiting out all their emotions and their shock. It's not anything like you could be like a fake person standing there when they're saying that, and they would just be yelling at that, like say at like a little toy. Like it's just them responding in a very not so friendly way, and it's nothing to do with you. And I know it's easier said than done, but they're saying to learn to shield yourself from that type of emotional vomiting that people might do, and just like that meanness is really going to help. So you guys might have noticed this card here. It says maintain hope, and I think it's really saying not to give up. You guys are going to be good. You're going to get out of this pattern, this low spot that you're in. Don't give up. You guys are doing so much good for this world, and we just got to change where your energy is coming from. Just meaning, I think if you realize that we're all interconnected, that the universe, we all come from that same energy, I think it's going to help you reconnect to it, if that makes sense. Like, I think you're going to, instead of just always drawing from your own energy and power, you're going to start like pulling energy down from the universe through you and using that energy. I would look into maybe some grounding methods where they tell you to breathe in the light above your head into your body, because when they talk about that light, they just talk about basically bringing in the energy and the light of what all of us are ever originally created from. And maybe that's a better way to look at it, and bring that into our body, into our being through our breath, and then using that to fuel ourselves and to give out energy, so that we're not just always taking from our own cup all the time. Oh, sorry, I think my one cat might jump in here in a second. Okay, so oh, he changed his mind. Good. Okay, so these cards here are really talking about being tender with yourselves and gentle with yourselves. And sorry, my cat is now playing with a bell, literally a bell. Okay, that's what the noise is, if you can hear it in the background. So this card is like calling you to go deeper with your connection with yourself, like to know yourself better, to approach yourself with more compassion, do more things that are for you, like a lot of self-care work. I think is really good right now. There's a lot of just too much giving, and I think your heart is just needing some receiving, even if it's just from you right now. I think eventually you'll be able to get out of this cycle where people are just always taking from you. It also is calling you to connect deeper with other people who are supportive and healthy for you to do so with, and with like the universe and the larger world, which is kind of what I've seen in these other cards here. I just honestly think it's going to help a lot with feeling so tired and like stuck, and things always being the same, but not necessarily liking the way things are being. And then this one here actually is kind of talking about refueling and re-energizing yourself and taking care of yourself. I think you have a lot of healing power within you. So I think it's even just like, if you even start doing some more self-care routine, you think it's going to help. I do think some of you have thought about taking medication. I cannot tell you to take medications or not. I can't tell you if they're a good option for you, but I think there could be a little bit of a message here saying that some of you might benefit short term from taking. It could even be like a supplement or a medication or something. Obviously, I am not prescribing anything. It's just a message that's there for someone that might just help you out. Yeah. So interesting. I do see lots of roses here. I feel like the center of you, like I feel like this just keeps reminding me of your eye, and like to see the sweetness in things, and that's what you're like needing again. Lots of flowers. I think you guys would benefit from just literally smelling flowers. Not necessarily roses, but I think it just like does something for you. I think when you smell a flower, it makes you feel good. It brings a bit of joy. And it's just like if doing small things like that are what create bigger changes in the long run. Okay, this says, by doing your best over and over, you can master the art of transformation. By doing your best, the habits of misusing your word, taking things personally, and making assumptions will become weaker and less frequent with time. So yeah, so I think that's really talking about how it seems crazy maybe to just say like all these small things are going to make this huge change and your life is going to be so much better, but they're saying it's just like actually through those small changes that things actually happen and things shift. Like just noticing the small things, like it seems so small to us and so pointless when we're not feeling great, but then the power it has in the long term is just amazing. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else. Self-reliance. Yeah, just some self-care time right now. Support systems. Not trying to take everything on yourself. I think for some of you could even be saying, I don't know if other people know you're struggling this much, and not keeping that to yourself could be great unburdening for you. And it doesn't mean to just go and trust anyone, but it is saying like even if you feel like you don't want to be honest with anyone in your life or your coworkers, maybe even just considering seeing like a therapist or a life coach or one that is like has good reviews, like do look into it because I do know there are like, some that are better than others. They're just saying like I think you really feel alone and like so much weight on you that just starting the process of unburdening your shoulders is going to help you out a lot. So I'm trying to see if there's any other messages here, but I think that's pretty much all I really have. They're just saying you're able to get out of this, and they want you to get out of this. You have so much still to bring into this world and help people with, even though some people might not be communicating that. It would be not as bright of a world if you weren't in it. And so it's really important for you to start taking the time to take care of you. Not just even, I feel like for you, yes, physical level is important, but I really feel like it's important on the emotional level and the spiritual level, because it's like those two things have really hit their end, and they're not okay with pushing through and just going on again and again like this. And I'm sure you feel that. Yeah, I hope that wasn't too heavy for you guys. I want you to know that things are able to be better. You don't have to keep being in these cycles. You do not have to be in these cycles, and I think they are going to end. You just have to just take small steps. Just do even release writing. I think you should go further than that, but if that's all you feel comfortable doing right now, start release writing. Look into what that means. You really just need to start getting some of this emotions out. I think it'd be great too if you're feeling not great about seeing people, is starting gratitude lists, like things that you're grateful for, things that make you smile, that you're glad to live for. Like just seeing that and knowing, like, do release writing and then finish with a gratitude list. I think it's really, really important to do something around that. I think it will unburden you slowly. And it's okay to cry and be upset during your release writing. It's even better. It means you're really getting to the emotion and you're getting some of that out. And I just think there's a really big need for that. I think some of you might even feel a bit numb sometimes, and it just shouldn't be that way. So I would actually really recommend getting green tourmaline. There is a lot of black tourmaline out there, but I think green's gonna be better because it has more of a healing energy to it, and it clears blocks for you. It clears things from depression, anxiety, uh, old woundings, hurtful words. Yeah, if you are open to getting crystals, I think you should have that. And I think if you are a nurse or something, if you can, I think you should keep it in your pocket. Because I know jewelry isn't necessarily a thing you can have on you, but just like having a little piece of it with you, I think is gonna help over time. That being said, you do need to clear it, so run it underwater or sage it or something like that, because I think it's going to do a lot of clearing work for you, and it's going to need to be cleared regularly, like once a week, to be able to keep pulling that out for you. Okay, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you feel better. Take care of yourself. You know, you guys deserve it. Okay, you have a good one, and I'll see you guys around.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your card readings. I just wanted to take the time to let you know that if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have accounts where I just bring you information about the spiritual. It can be anything from more protection ways, energy clearing ways, just some like fun facts around maybe why you wear like a ring on a certain finger and stuff like that. Also, if you're interested in booking a private reading, you can do so through my website, empoweredreadings.com. And yeah, anyways, if not, it'd be just great if you could leave a comment or a like on this video so I know that it's resonating with you guys and that I am helping somebody out there. Anyways, you guys have a good day, and hopefully I catch you around.
Hello, pile 6. All right, let's get into it. Oh, pile 6, you by far got the most cards of everyone else, which is okay. It means you might need it. Okay, so it is interesting. I have very like entrepreneur vibes, salesman vibes. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but just that kind of idea. I feel like you guys wear like suits or nicer clothes to work usually, or that is what you're supposed to wear. And I do think it's more in the like it's more of like a professional job, if that makes sense, versus like say someone who works in the restaurant industry or someone who works in like a clothing store or something like that. I can't think of jobs right now. But anyways, you get the idea. I think you guys are pretty self-made people, meaning I don't know if you necessarily went to school for what you're doing now, or if you just kind of one of those people who defy the odds. Like you're very good at, I want to say, selling people. I have a very big selling vibe here. And if you saw this like love at first sight card, I did pull this as a career card. So I do feel like you guys are very confident, or you seem very confident to others, and you're just naturally really good at this job that you're doing. And it's kind of saying like your confidence attracts other people to what you're selling. They like it's what hooks them. They're like, how does this guy got this? Like there's something going on here. Let's see, persistence, that makes sense. I think some of you are watching this reading wondering if you're going to go further in your career yet. I think you are. Everything here is saying that. Yeah, they're saying you are like pretty driven about this. Like Whatever you're doing, you might actually believe, I should use different words. I think you believe that it is bettering people, like you're not just ripping people off, and that if they do buy your product, they are actually benefiting from it. And I think that's even why you are so successful, is that you don't see it as I need money from this. You're seeing it as this is helping people out, and there is a benefit to me, which is a win-win for everyone. I do see selenite when you like you picked this pile based on selenite, even though I picked you also are the only ones with multiple crystal cards. But when I see that, I was thinking, oh boy, whoever has this pile deals with a lot of people and they need to do some cord cutting. And one of the ways you can cord cut is with selenite. I actually have pieces of it everywhere. So these things are pretty inexpensive, which makes them really awesome. And there's lots of different way to cord cut, but I think for you guys, I think you're fidgety people. I'm not sure, but I think you're very movie and stuff. So I think for you, it doesn't really work so easily to pinch up people in a bubble and cut cords. So I think using a selenite rod is going to be great. All you do is trace this over your head, from your head down, even get under your feet. I think for you guys, you're literally just tracing your body head down and under your arms, and then under your feet, above your feet. And it just cuts any energetic cords with people. And I think because you're a salesperson, and I think because you are so confident, people really want to attach to you in some ways, literally and energetically. Yeah, I think you're a very likable person, which is awesome. But yeah, I think this is going to be good for you in not maybe feeling so tired all the time, or having because of the people that are so attracted to you, I think they aren't as confident. They've got more self-esteem issues. And it's funny because I feel like some of you, when I said are confident people, you're like, ooh, not at this soul level, you have some insecurities. But I mean, the people you're selling to they have so little self-esteem, um but I think they couldn't even pretend to be confident. They just would be self-defecating humor all the time, just stuff like that. So they're saying it's really important to cut ties with these people, because I think you can pick up some of those people's energies just because there's so many people like that around you. So you just want to get rid of that energy. It's not great, it's not serving you, and I don't think it's yours. Yeah, so this pink calcite card is very interesting. It's just calling you to maybe not be so hard on yourself. I think that's probably a hard thing to ask for someone in sales, because you probably always feel like you should be doing better or you could do better. And I know usually in jobs like that, they have this large number hanging over your head that usually is almost impossible to meet. Although I think you guys often defy the odds and meet it. They're saying be more gentle with yourself. So it says, do you need more sweetness in your life? Are you gentle with yourself in your words and thoughts? Treat yourself with kindness. Cultivate loving friends, family, and environments. Be your own best friend and the best friend you can be to others. Yeah, so I think just based on the energy around this, I think you guys are people who can be really supportive and awesome to your friends, and you can be the real upper of the party, or if they're down on themselves, I think you cheer them up, or you say you're Ron, you're so great, you guys are so good at this, that kind of stuff. But I don't think you do it for yourself. And there's kind of like saying, hey, like, don't know if you've noticed this, but we have, and we'd love it if you could bring that energy towards yourself because you're really great and people love you, but you've got to love you too. Yeah. I don't know if that makes sense to you guys, but kind of, it's like a little, like they're gently tapping on the shoulder and saying, hey, like, you should maybe consider changing that energy a little bit. Yeah, I should say, like, I don't see anything here saying that you guys are actually really even disliking your career or anything like some of the other piles. I think you actually quite enjoy it and you're quite good at it. Um, but I think you're just watching this because it's fun to watch career readings and everyone can grow. And I think you guys might be of that opinion. So it's, yeah, it is saying that there's some things you can change about how you see yourself and treat yourself that actually will make a difference, I think, in your career because a lot of people are sensing like a lot of people are just buying things from you because they like you. And it doesn't mean that your product isn't good or that they shouldn't or you're manipulating it at all. I don't want it to sound like that, but I think they're saying like, you know how they say in sales you're really just selling yourself and your personality and like who you are. I think the people really resonate that with that, especially for you. Um Yeah, people definitely do. I also think, I guess you guys probably aren't like really maybe worried about this, but I do see a little vibe that you guys are like star seedy vibes. So I don't know if you've ever looked into that. But yeah, I don't think you are originally from this planet, although I'm sure you've been on this planet for a while because your confidence, it's almost like you're okay with the way the world works here. Maybe you don't love it, but you have accepted it, and a lot of star beings don't accept that. So that's actually like a huge accomplishment on a soul level. I don't know if you guys are that into that stuff, but if you are, like, that's like quite the accomplishment. It takes like star seeds, like, I feel like hundreds of years of like lifetimes to become okay with that. They get so stuck on like the earth being bad and gross and yuck, but you're just like, we're over that. We experienced that for a while, but now we're like enjoying this life. We know that we can just be the best versions of ourselves, and that's just gonna bring more love and light here anyway. So that's actually a really cool like outlook to have. Anyways, that was a bit of a rant. So this last one here for crystals is apotholite. It says, do you wish to gain a better understanding of a situation? It's time to meditate, sit in silence, open your consciousness, listen for your soul's truth, and embrace it without judgment. Mental clarity and self-acceptance are a gift of regular meditation practice. As I was reading that, I was like, some of you guys are gonna be like, I don't really like sitting down and meditating. You like being distracted. I think, now hear me out on this. Yeah, your minds are usually really busy and all over the place. You can be thinking of 100 things. Some people are like, that's ADHD, but some people just have extreme like overthinking minds. They don't have ADHD. All like those are very common things when we as like the spiritual practitioners see it. We're like, oh boy, this person is not grounded in their body. They don't like being there. So if you're open to it, you could get crystals for it. It is tricky though, because I feel like you guys are so ungrounded. If you wore like a very traditional grounding stone, would be a little overwhelming and too much. You would feel gross because you're not used to it. So I think you should start with a very gentle stone to get you there. It's going to be different for everyone. I wonder if you maybe should even try this apotholite. I don't actually know much about it, although I seem to pull this card all the time in different crystal decks, so it must be pretty important. But try checking that out. I think it's going to help you out a lot. There is some inner child wounding it's telling you to work on. Just, yeah, I think you're pretty great people, but I think maybe there's some things you haven't fully gone into, and I think me even just saying that you know what I'm talking about, some injury, and yeah, just really getting to reconnect with your soul spark, your soul being. And then I do just want to read these quick here. Personal importance or taking things personally is the maximum expression of selfishness because we make the assumption that everything is about me. Relinquish self-importance. Okay. In any kind of relationship, we can make the assumption that others know what we think and we don't have to say what we want. We assume they are going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do what we want, we feel hurt and think, how could you do that? You should know. So that could be just one of those things. I think especially being in this like communication and person industry, that it would be really important maybe to be aware of small things like that. I don't think you're necessarily bad communicators, but I think it's just saying like you guys are looking for ways to improve. And one of the ways to improve would be really nailing down the small details on how you communicate. It's almost calling you to be not just like an average person at communicating, but being someone who's very consciously aware and communicative. So like realizing how often when we say words, we're not really saying what we mean. We kind of speak in these like games in the English language, I've noticed. Like we'll say things, but we'll be like, you know what I mean. But a lot of times that word or that thing doesn't mean the same thing to another person who has a whole different experience and was maybe taught that same word had a different meaning, or that the expectation when hearing that was totally different. And they're just saying this could be a bit of some troubles in, I think, your personal relationships, maybe with friends, is thinking that they just know some things that they don't know, or sometimes not saying something in a way that everyone is on the same page. And I don't think everyone even realizes it. You might be someone who sometimes finds yourself being like, oh, they did this intentionally, they hurt me. But really the other person had no idea what was going on. And yeah, I really don't think that's like a huge call out if you're saying, like, I feel like I'm saying that and it could seem really harsh, but I think they're just saying like if you really want to just like be the best you can be and do the best you can in your career and be the best you can be in general, that is gonna go pretty far, I think, because you guys are pretty good otherwise. Just gotta remember to go within and connect with yourself a little bit more. Yeah, the orphan card is catching my eye. I think it is actually relating to the fact that maybe you've kind of left your own inner child work in the rear view mirror a little bit. But I think you guys know that. It's really weird to say that. Most of the time I feel like I have to go into details here, but I'm almost like they're just reminding you that you gotta like deal with that at some point, because to be the best person you can be, you do have to reflect and go within and reconnect with that more younger wounded selves that we all have from just living a human life. And I don't know why I wanted to look at the back of that. So positive expectations.
Welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your card readings. I just wanted to take the time to let you know that if you want to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I do have accounts where I just bring you information about the spiritual. It can be anything from more protection ways, energy clearing ways, just some like fun facts around maybe why you wear like a ring on a certain finger and stuff like that. Also, if you're interested in booking a private reading, you can do so through my website, empoweredreadings.com. And yeah, anyways, if not, it'd be just great if you could leave a comment or a like on this video so I know that it's resonating with you guys and that I am helping somebody out there. Anyways, you guys have a good day and hopefully I catch you around.